Hi, second grade. Thank you for joining me today in your art lesson. My name is Miss Emolyn Liden, and today we are going to have fun with adverbs. Now, sometimes when we learn grammar, it can feel very stressful or difficult to remember what things mean and how things work. But I think adverbs can be a lot of fun. And this is a perfect time of year to learn about adverbs. Why? Because an adverb is a word that describes a verb. Now we know verb is a word that describes action. And in the springtime, there is so much action happening outside in nature. You might have noticed that the trees are starting to grow little green leaves that are bright green, a different green color than you see in the fall and winter. You might notice that the plants have been growing and becoming flowers. Something that looked just like a green bush, is it now bright pink, bright red? An adverb is a word that tells about the action of a verb or how something is done. And it is also a word that describes how the action happens. So today we're going to be thinking about how. We will talk a lot more about adverbs and how that word tells us about the action. All right, second grade, look at this picture behind me. Can you see that it is somebody helping somebody else? And take a moment to look closely at this picture, and we are going to choose some words that describe what we see. Is the boy looking at something? We can say what he's looking at. What he's looking at looks like a tomato. But how is he looking? Looking is an action word. That's our verb. How is he looking? Is he looking at the tomato carefully? That's a good word. I'm going to write carefully as our first adverb. As always in my lessons, if you happen to have a piece of paper and a pencil, please write the word carefully with me. Let's choose two more words that describe the verb. He is looking. She is helping. How is she helping the boy? Can you think of something? If you can raise your hand and say it out loud. I will guess what you might be thinking. Is she helping him patiently? That's a good adverb. Patiently. P-A. If you want to write this with me, T-I-E-N. There we have our patiently. She is helping him patiently. Carefully, patiently. What's another word? Are they running around and acting crazy, or is it more of a focused moment? What's one more word? How about calmly? Yeah, they are calmly focusing on this plant, and she is helping him, and he is looking at this plant in a very calm way. Maybe thinking, maybe asking questions, but he's probably asking them calmly. That's what we see and observe in this picture. Calmly. Great job! We're going to do an artwork today where we are going to grow a spring garden. How are we going to do that? We are going to use our adverb words to help us draw, help us come up with ideas, and help us choose colors that we see outside today. Now the supplies you will need are, we will use scissors. We are carefully going to cut a shape with our scissors, and we will need crayons, and we will need something to draw with. Also, we're going to work on a white piece of paper. So white piece of paper, scissors, coloring crayons, and something to draw with. Get your supplies, and I will meet you at the art table. All right, second grade, here we are at the art table. I have my pair of scissors. I hope that you gathered some crayons, and I also want you to have 2 pieces of paper that we are going to fold and cut an image out from the center to create a stencil. I'll tell you more about how to use the stencil, but for now, put those pieces of paper aside. I want to think for a second what we are seeing in nature right now. Have you seen a flower blooming? Have you seen a tree blooming with bright colors all over it? Have you seen any insects or birds interacting with that tree, flying up to it, exploring it, smelling it, landing on it? Now that we have these images of spring in our mind, we are going to create a stencil of a cloud. You can either draw a little cloud in the middle and cut into it, or you can take this piece of paper and fold it and draw a little cloud. It doesn't have to be very big because our working paper is not very big. We are just going to draw from the center fold a little cloud right there in the middle. Can you do that with me? And we are going to hold it where the fold is in my left hand, the scissors are in my right because I'm right-handed. If you are left-handed, put the scissors in your left hand and the paper in your right. Now we are going to cut. How? We are going to cut slowly. That's a good adverb. Slowly cut around the curved shape of that cloud. And what we're going to do is take the paper from the middle out and away, and we're going to use the outside of the paper as a stencil. So take the inside away, and it is fun. If you like it, you can keep it for something else. And we are going to put the cloud shape down on our piece of paper. Now that we have our stencil of a cloud, we are going to make our sky in the background. Now a spring sky is often nice and bright. The sun shines brightly, the blue can be very bright, and the clouds are white. But what we're going to play with is laying down the stencil of a cloud, and we're going to color it in with a nice sky blue, and we're going to move it around so that the outside is going to stay white and the inside is going to be blue. And what's going to happen is the sky is going to fill up with some white and some blue, and it's going to create something that looks like clouds. So hold on to the paper, slowly, carefully, gently color inside your stencil. And I'm tilting my crayon a little bit to the side. So it's not actually like color, color, color. It's more like brushing. We see the cloud shape, but when we take it away, that's the shape we're left with. Good. Now turn your stencil another direction, and we're going to carefully, slowly, gently color in our cloud shape. Noticing that when we take it away, we have the white part forming. That's more of our cloud itself, and then this is our sky. So we're drawing clouds in the reverse, if you think about it. We're coloring it in, and when we take it away, we've got really nice sky and cloud shapes. Okay? Let's do them all across the background of our picture. And you don't want the stencil to push up. So if you come to a corner of the cloud, you just try to be gentle. You calmly, gently color it in. And let's go all the way from the left side of our drawing to the right side of our drawing. There you go. Reach over to another part. And this is going to be the background sky. This cloud-shaped stencil is making us think about a sky. You can do as many as you would like. And we keep the sky to the top part of the page. So don't come down to the front part. Stay to the back part. And the direction that you color makes you think the wind is blowing that way, or maybe it swoops up and blows that way. Okay? I'm going to do one where I just do the top part of the page and the bottom part of the cloud. And maybe one more over here. Good. Now, if stencils are new to you, it might take some time to get used to it. But I hope that you have had fun making your first stencil. Now we're going to take a horizon line, and it doesn't need to be very dark. I'm choosing a dark crayon, but I am doing a slight curve like we're on a hill. Nice job. Now I want to make another stencil. Here we are with this piece of paper, and this time I want to cut it nice and small. And one more time. So let's make another stencil that is shaped like a flower. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, but one easy way of doing a flower shape is doing curves that come back to the center. And you keep it nice and small, and we're going to use the outside of our paper for our stencil. The stencil now gets folded, and we're just going to cut half of the image of the flower. Okay? So you cut a couple petals, and if you need someone to help you do this, then ask for help. But if you're getting more comfortable cutting, just cut a nice curve shape out of the center. And when you open it up, there should be something that resembles a flower. Nice. Now what we're going to do first is do a backwash of green. So just take your spring green color and brush it all over the page. And then we are going to start making some flowers. So put your stencil down and choose any color of a flower that you might have. I have a red, so slowly color in the inside of the flower. Nice work. And move it, and we're going to slowly color in the inside of the flower. One more time. And this is a gentle motion. You don't have to press down too hard. And then come over to the right hand side, and let's turn our shape and our crayon, and let's color it again, holding the outside of the stencil, making sure not to push too hard on the edges. There we go. Nice flowers up front. And then we're going to do what looks like a nice long stem. So this flower is going to come out of the ground with one stem. Nice and bold. And let's bring another stem down from our second flower. A nice and bold shape. And our third flower. Nice and bold shape. And hop on over to the other flowers and let's do the same. Pressing down with the green and letting it curve around slightly to show some movement. Now we do see a lot of tulips this time of year. So what we're going to do is outline our flower shape with a curve on the bottom and follow along the outside of that flower shape. Beautiful. And we can do a nice curve line like that if you want to. I just want you to outline, meaning tracing your flower shape. And if it's an open iris or an open tulip, you can have 2 petals on the front. Continue to outline. The nice thing about your stencil is that it is different from mine, so your flowers are going to look different than mine, okay? And I want to see difference. Outline your flower shape, and if you want to do some petals, continue slowly and calmly outlining your petal shapes. Beautiful. Let's grow this spring garden even more. Let's do a tree that is a little bit green, but it is blossoming with flowers, okay? So let's make a nice shape of a tree one more time as a stencil. So this one will be bigger, like that. We're not going to worry about the trunk of the tree. We're just going to do the top of the tree, and we're going to place him higher up on our horizon line. Okay? So take your pencil, and let's make a big curvy shape. The detail is going to come later. All right? And we're just going to fold and cut half of this. Whichever side you like, hold the fold and cut half of your stencil. And we're going to cut away the shape on the inside and take away the inside shape and keep the stencil. Now where would you like that tree to go? How about right here? And if you colored lightly for the back, now take a darker green and color in, holding down the outside of the stencil. If you need somebody to tape the corners for you, you can do that as well. I can demonstrate what I mean. You can use some little pieces of tape and tape them down, and we will pull this up and untape it eventually. It's to keep our tree stencil in place. Now slowly move to other parts and hold down your stencil. you go. And then untape the corners. And you have a nice big green tree. Wonderful. Let's do another one. Anywhere you would like. How about over to the side, and you retape the corners and you get some green and color it in. Now what we see in the spring when things change is that there's a new definition of leaves. There's new leaves and new growth on the tree, and that's why spring can be so fun. So what I would like you to do, move your stencil aside, keeping your paper landscape, and see if you can outline it with some green curvy shapes. And these are the new leaves that we will see forming in the tree. And you can go around and around. Nice job. So I'm just making curved shapes, and I'm adding a little bit of depth and outline to the tree. Good work. Now we have seen some beautiful blossoming happening, so let's pick a color, maybe a nice red, and let's do some small little blossoms. And let's do this by just tucking a couple diagonal shapes on the tree. Making little flowers all in the tree. Little bursts of shapes, little diagonal shapes. Good job, second grade, almost there. Now if you want to, you can define the flowers by coming back with a pencil and outlining the flowers. That's one fun way to add detail, where you add curved shapes around all of the pink flowers. So you could do that. Let's add the bottom of the tree. So this tree is in a garden. It's very well maintained, but it is a little bit far away. So let's bring the trunk of the tree down like this. The trunk is going to be nice and simple. The other branches can be tucked up into the tree. So let's just color in the trunk. And we're going to stop about there because it is farther away than the flowers. And let's add another tree trunk going behind the big iris flower and stop about there and color it in. Now we call this a spring garden, and let's draw around the trees as if someone has landscaped this garden, like we had an artist to design a place for this garden to go. Usually when you see this around the tree, it means that somebody planted it, and we're going to color that in. You can color it in with some mulchy colors, so some dark gray and some brown. We're going to pretend that this is like mulch. There we go. And we can do one more little garden circle around this tree, going behind the flowers as we go, so that the flowers are in the front, in the foreground, and color that in. And if your tree doesn't come all the way down to your flowers in the front, that's okay. Our pictures are going to be a little bit different, just like our shapes of the flowers were a little bit different. And if you would like, you can draw what looks like a little fence. So we can start on the end and come up a little bit tall in the front, like this is a row of bricks or a fence. And you can draw a little bit of lines around like that. So we go close to the line in the back, and then in the front the line's a little bit taller. So it's like almost like two circles, and then draw straight up and down for the front of that. Good. Now let's do a little bird in the corner by a nice curved V shape. And we could even do a little butterfly near the flower if we wanted to. And the last thing, we're going to add some adverbs to our picture. So look at these: brightly, slowly, quickly, nicely, gently, neatly, loudly, fast. These are all adverbs. And so take your pencil, and we're going to write with the best handwriting that we have, okay? And we could say the butterfly flaps his wings quickly. Add some adverbs to your spring picture. The clouds flow. How would they flow? Slowly is a good adverb. The birds. Maybe the birds sing. Can we hear the birds singing in the spring? If they're far away, would they sing quietly? Good. What about the trees? The trees stand proudly. Think of any adverb you would like to add. The sun shines brightly. Good. Anything else? The flowers are planted neatly. So the last challenge I want to give you is add any adverb that you would like to your picture and keep adding detail to the picture. All right, second grade, thank you so much for joining me in today's lesson. I hope you had fun playing with adverbs, getting to make a stencil and use that stencil in your artwork. And I hope you enjoyed growing a nice springtime garden with all of the colors and the movement and the joy and the growth and the action that we see in this season. Once again, my name is Miss Emolyn Liden, and I will see you again soon. But in the meantime, keep making art.